When the memoirs of Rudolf Hess, the commandant of Auschwitz, were published, many reviewers said the book would prevent such horrors from ever happening again. But my father, himself a survivor of Hitler's camps, worried that Hess's chronicle would actually become a textbook for future genocidal monsters.
Yet 50 years later, after that, in 1994, I had to live through a genocide in Rwanda, and I saw 800,000 men, women, and children murdered in a preventable genocide, and a genocide where the international community failed to respond.
When I went to the Holocaust Museum for the first time, the most chilling part wasn't the rows and rows of shoes that were taken from children and adults who were murdered. It wasn't the reproduction of a barracks in a camp like the one that my grandparents were forced to live in for years. It was a quote from Adolf Hitler when he explains that he'll slaughter the Jews and he'll get away with it because nobody remembers the Armenians. Nobody did anything for the Armenians.
We regretted not helping Rwanda. This is our chance to help Darfur.
There's nothing we can do about the Holocaust and the genocides of the past, but we've got the opportunity now to do something about the one facing our world now, and we absolutely have the responsibility to do so.
I can't believe it's going on. The Holocaust happened, we said never again, and here we have an opportunity to make a difference. If we are human beings, if we have any empathy or compassion for our fellow people on this planet, in our short time here, we have to do something. Otherwise, I don't know how we sleep at night.
I'm formerly from Germany, and I lived through the Second World War. And as a member of that nation that committed the genocide at that time against the Jews, I urgently want to plead with the necessary authorities to stop the genocide in Darfur.
I'm an officer in the Canadian Army. In 1993 and 1994, I served as General Dallaire's personal staff officer in Rwanda before and during the genocide. I think the most hypocritical thing that I have seen in my life was in 2004, on the 10th anniversary, when the leaders or their representatives from around the world came to Rwanda to commemorate the Rwandan genocide and made a pledge at that conference that never again would genocide be allowed in our world.
Over half a century ago and half a world away, my grandmother had the will to survive and the courage to escape from Auschwitz. Rarely a day goes by when I don't think about her struggle, and I can't imagine a world in which I never got to know my grandmother.
We have said never again when it came to the Shoah, but genocide repeats itself.
And now it's happening again in Darfur, and the world is standing by.
Directly adjacent from the camp where thousands and thousands of Jews and others were murdered was a residential area. People were living right across from where this was happening.
Where were the bystanders? Where were those people who just let that happen? And now we're becoming them.
We cannot remain indifferent. We cannot pretend to remain impartisan. As Elie Wiesel said, the opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference.
The ongoing genocide in Darfur will continue as long as we and the world choose to avert our eyes, thinking that if we don't see it, maybe it's not actually happening. But the atrocities, the hunger, the rapes, and the murders are real. And as a Jew whose people have experienced genocide, I feel particularly obligated to make sure that our attention is focused fully on the events which are unfolding in Sudan.
This is our opportunity. Our children will judge us, and the people of the world will judge us. And beyond judgment, it's the only humane thing to do.
It is time that we give the words never again some true meaning, and I urge government leaders from all countries around the world to come together, put aside self-interest, and to focus on stopping the genocide in Darfur.